How's it going, guys? Dylan here at Mad Vapes of Boone and Charlie.
How's it going?
And today we decided to do a video of y'all's most frequently asked questions that we typically get here in the store all the time. So we're just gonna start off. We have 3 questions we're gonna go over today, and we're just gonna go through and answer each one. So the first one is what e-liquid should I be putting in my device?
So we have several different kinds of juices. We have thinner juices, we have thicker juices, we also have juices with salt nicotine and juices with just standard nicotine.
Yeah, so for example, we have the Smoke Tech Novo here, which is a pretty popular device as far as pod styles go. And a lot of people that come into the store, they see all the juice on the wall and they're like, oh, I can just pick from any of those. And they're specifically probably looking for either salt nicotine or something that's thin. So the coils in these guys are actually really small. So you can actually see in there that it's pretty small. And so you don't want to put any juice that has a ton of vegetable glycerin in it that's really thick. So not a whole lot from our actual premium liquids, because a lot of them are max VG.
Yeah. So I have a few different juices right here in front of me. We have 2 things from Candy Caps. Candy Caps that comes out with both a standard nic line and a salt nicotine line. So these are actually the same flavor profile in completely different style juices. So here we have its smaller bottle, so it's very obviously the salt nicotine based, which is going to work best in these Novos if you want that high level nicotine hit.
Yeah, and just to kind of give a contrast here, salt nicotine is something you would absolutely not want to put into something like this. So pretty frequently we see people come in the store and look at the premium liquids, and they have a device like this, and you can see their eyes kind of veering towards some of the salt nicotine lines. And that's something you absolutely don't want to put in a device like this. Anything that has a big coil inside of it, any kind of tank device, you want to stay clear of salt nicotine.
It's actually going to be quite dangerous.
It's actually very dangerous. You can get yourself nicotine poisoning.
Yeah,
absolutely. For devices like this, or really any kind of device that uses a tank, you're going to want to be using the water-based nicotine product. So that's this big bottle here. That's most of our premium liquids, and just about anything you see on the back wall here, all of those juices, we put the water-based nicotine into. So let's move on to our next question, which is what tanks can my device use?
And so when they're looking at devices, they have already a stick prints, and it actually has a tank screwed right on top of it. It actually just comes out with these 510 connections, and they say, well, I have a stick prints, but will my tank fit on another device, or do I have to buy a full kit?
Well, that's actually one of the benefits to buying something like the stick prints, especially if you're just starting out vaping, is because the majority of what you're paying for in something like a stick prints is actually this tank. And this tank is cross-compatible with a number of different devices. Just about every box mod that we sell here is a 510 connection.
Yeah.
So this will fit right on it, no problem. Something else that you had brought up earlier, Charlie, was, especially with something like the stick prints where you can't adjust the wattage,
yes,
there might be some coils in particular that come in some of these tanks that you might want to avoid.
Exactly. So we do have bigger coil styles for these stick prints, and we have tons of other different kinds that are gonna work with it. But the coils that they come with are best from 40 watts to 50 watts, which is about where the stick prints fires at. The coil I'm running the same. This is the Cobra edition of the TFV12 prints, but I am running a coil that's best at 70. These devices are not going to be able to run at 70 watts, so I have this box that will allow me to run at 70 watts. You'll still be able to fire the coils on these devices, but it's not really going to be the best hit from these devices.
So you're not going to be getting the most out of the coil if you buy a coil for a device like a stick print, and the optimal wattage that it's supposed to be fired at is around 70 to 80 watts. So you would need something like a box mod or something that can adjust the wattage to get something like that out of the stick or out of the Prince tank.
But our last question that we have for today, it's actually about coils themselves. So we get this question quite a lot. How long do my coils last, and when should I change them? So this is sort of a 2-part question. How long coils last is a variable amount.
Yes. So this depends on coil size, the design of the coil itself, the brand,
what wattage you've been using it on, what device you're using it on. I've seen coils last 2 days. We also had a lady come in here not too long ago. Her coil had lasted her 3 months, and it was not dead yet.
And also, we did a video recently on how to fix some of the problems that are going on with maybe a coil that might be leaking too much, why your tank might be leaking. But Charlie's right, it depends on so many different factors. It's really hard to give an accurate estimate. It really depends on your own vaping habits. The kind of juice you put in a coil can affect it. But when do you think would be like a good tell as to when you need to change your coil?
After I hit it and I get a burnt taste off the coil, I will change it then. But normally, if I've had a coil for about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, I will just go ahead and change it, mainly because it's been in there for a while, it's probably on the way out, and I'm not getting a lot of the flavor profile.
And if you're ever concerned that your coil might need a changing, I would recommend just screwing it out and taking a look at it. The eyeball test can do a lot for you there.
If your cotton is pretty clear, you're most likely fine. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us what you want to see in the next video. If you like this video, tell us about it and other frequently asked questions that you'd like to see or hear. And if you have any questions that just can't wait, come on in the store and we'll answer any questions you can.
Nailed it.
But until then, guys, see ya.
See you next time, guys.